Hello, Laura. Good morning. There's this way because it's so interesting, because in my phone I have, I have the comments translated to Spanish. And even though it's correct, it's not, but if I have to read it aloud, it's in Spanish. So in here I can see it in English. There is this Chinese variety show called Keep Running. Oh, what are you watching it? I also have to get on those. I heard it's really fun. I have to subscribe to, is it Aiki, the channel? The, I think that is Aiki. I have it on my phone, but yeah, you do have to have the VIP pass to see what's available, because if they show you something, they show you like one or two episodes and then you have to pay. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I will watch it. I was laughing so much. Like yesterday, I had a bit of time. I was having issues with my internet, so I don't know if today is going to work. But um, finally the internet came back. So I was scrolling on YouTube, and Stephanie Su, she she uploaded a new video. And it's more interesting what she's currently, her content, because you know there's something about her now commenting, or telling the story about China celebrities or China influencers, or what is trending on China, and they call it the China universe. And she talks about these celebrities and this, that probably in China they're super famous, but we don't know much, or I don't know much about it. I know a bit about Korean, but not so much about Chinese. It is so interesting. It's so interesting, and the way she story tells, like her storytelling, it's amazing. So yesterday she was talking about an influencer in a restaurant chain. And it was hilarious. I was like, oh my God, this is so good. Um, I was laughing to myself because she is so funny, and also her husband is so funny. Like both of them laugh out loud, and it just makes me laugh in response to them. Um, Also, my dad's family came today. His brothers, his sisters, and brother-in-law, and they are so loud when they talk. They are in his house, but I can hear them through the walls. I can hear them. Um, and they came very early, because okay, now it's 9, but they came like half an hour ago. No, an hour and a half, not half an hour, an hour and a half ago. And everyone, like in the neighborhood, because it's really cold lately, so everyone is asleep. And today is Sunday, and they are just talking very loudly. My family, like my dad's family, they all talk very loud. Now because they're older, you can be like, well, it's because they're older. No, they always been loud when they talk. They're so loud. So I kinda don't want. If my internet allows me, I'm going to stay here because I don't want to go and say hi. They are so annoying. Oh my god. Oh, I do my best to, create a respectful connection, but I just don't like them. Oh, I used to have friends that spoke very loud and I was embarrassed. Like one of them was vulnerable and I found it disturbing. Idol Yuki is on it, and there's also an episode with Ricky and Sahao along with Bailu. Oh, Bailu also is super famous. Like I read that name very often. Yeah, I think that is like is about manners, because they don't realize that they're being loud. And also in consequence, I also speak in a higher tone. I also speak loud because I'm used to being around them, and also um um, I remember I would spend time with my grandma, his mother's, my dad's mother, and she had hearing problems. So, she wouldn't hear a thing. So you have to repeat yourself, and you would have to speak loud. So so there've always been a thing with. And I remember when I first, I would be at social situations, and also, for example, at jobs, and people would be like, Vanessa, you can lower your voice if you want to. And I wouldn't realize I would do it myself. It's just that when you grow up in that environment that everyone speaks loudly, you also speak loudly and you don't realize it. Bailu is super famous in China, but she's not well known outside for whatever reason, because I recently found out she's actually never been abroad besides Hungary. Yeah, I mean, I did watch. She is the one that stars the Canning Palace, right? With this actor that is trending now, that with Shan Yue. She is the one, right, of the Canning Palace story. Canning Palace story, is it? Um, she is. Yeah. I mean, how can I have to watch something, another thing of hers. I need people to recommend me by you C dramas or movie. I don't know, because I think that there's something just very just. I think that she would play really well, this sort of independent woman kind of characters, like it suits her. But I think that there's something about the way her expressions that are a bit tough, are a bit tough. I don't know how she is about portraying emotions, but it seems like her facial expressions are very harsh, like like she's a fighter or something like this. Like it's harsh. Um, and also people can misunderstand that, when your features are really harsh, or maybe she does characters that are all about them fighting or standing up for themselves and protecting themselves. There's this aura that I think that she exudes, that is that, don't come near me. um, so I need to watch something else, because I want a bit of tenderness. I want to see a bit of soft side from her, because yeah, I don't know her. She has a C drama with Dylan One, but in my opinion, she's not the best. That's why I love. I love watching her in variety shows. Yes, Yeah, I think that in variety shows, like you really can see, because it sort of makes sense, in C-dramas, they are playing a character, and also it depends on how they are being directed. So it's not that they do it because they want to, but yeah, in variety shows, I think that it's so interesting to see them, collaborate with others, or, come up with ideas. I think, and also you see them sometimes because, there's certain challenges that in variety shows that are a bit embarrassing, so you put yourself in their shoes, is when you like sort of participate in a game, and you have no idea, okay, you have to win this or you have to guess this, and you're like, okay, okay, and I think that there's a bit of vulnerability in, like, how do I do this, and you can see a bit of their character, so it's really good to see them. With idols, the same. With idols, the same. I watched, well, idols sometimes they do have their, it's not variety show, but it's like they do have their content where they have games, and they have to play for food because they cannot eat if they don't win it. So it's a very interesting experience. I find that the costume and set design is more important than the actors, actresses. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh no, I haven't yet. Have you been watching BTS 2.0? I'm looking forward to new episodes. No, I have to watch it. I didn't know. My army friends didn't tell me anything about that. They were talking about the concert. I know that they were talking about the concert. I don't know if my friend, if because I don't remember. I know she got tickets, but I think that she's from LA, so I don't know when her time is going to come. But she's super excited about that, and I'm so happy. Um, my Mexican army friend, she couldn't get tickets. She tried. She tried with all her abilities, but she couldn't. It's such a shame because I know how she loves BTS. It's such a shame. I feel so bad for people that they have been fans for a very long time and they just couldn't get it. They couldn't. It's so sad. It's so sad. I was like, come to Argentina and come and get the tickets here. But, also, I don't know how this is going over here, but I think that it's also, it's not that simple. I think that people are still fighting, and I don't know if all, not all of them, but if how many tickets were available, because I found out that they, when they first announced the tours, like the place and the country and the stadium, they said that it was going to be on a very, popular soccer field, soccer stadium that, I'm a fan of that team. And, and I know it. I had been in concerts in there, so I know it's huge and it's so fitting for BTS. But then they changed it to another location, to another province. And it's like a much more smaller venue. I don't know it personally because I don't know that part of the country. But I think that in capacity it doesn't have many seats, so not as much as the other. So I don't know how fans are going to do. So I'm sure there's less tickets. No, I'm not. No, no. No, I didn't even try it. I didn't even try it because people were fighting for their lives. People were fighting for their lives, to get it. And honestly, no. It's such a shame because the situation in my country is very, just like everyone. We are trying to make it economically. We are not okay. The country is not okay. So I don't know about expenses. I'm trying to you know um save money. It's not possible to save, honestly. You want to save, but something comes up always, something comes up. But I wanted to go, but it's not. I cannot do that. I cannot get um, or use a credit card, or to do it, and also it's difficult because I think that you must have the membership of Weavers. I believe is it Weavers, the membership? Like you must be a member to apply for the tickets and everything, and I'm not familiar with those. So yes. I'm fighting for tickets in February, but they are too expensive, Amagida. Yeah, that's true. My mom was in Seoul when BTS had the free concert that was aired on Netflix, and because she was in an army, she didn't care. I was so jealous. Oh, and she could just have been there because it seemed like there was a space for people. Like there were many like sort of blocks, and yeah, it was crowded. But maybe she would have stopped by. She would have gotten a good place in there. But I don't know. I think that it was super cold. I don't know. I seen people in the crowd, and also it was at night, right? I was like, oh, it was, because for me it was early in the morning. So I guess that if for me it was like 8 a.m., for them it was like 8 p.m. So it was very late for them. Um, it was more, it seemed like it's more like late in the sense that the weather, it seemed to be very cold, so I think that that's so you can. It's one of the conditions. Like I know there were people that they were talking about the process of buying the ticket, and I think that there were one of the conditions um, for the pre-sale. Maybe I have no idea, honestly, about that sort of how they manage themselves. No. Mm. Yeah, I'm also lazy. I'm like okay. My dad was like, let's stop in the corner and watch. And she was like, no, yeah, maybe it was super cold to be out there. It's like, well, um, I was like, what about me? No video. She was like, even if we watch, we couldn't see anything. Yeah, and also everything was super restricted. Like no one was like, yeah, there was a lot of security and everything. Mhm. I'm glad we are normal. Yeah, we are normal fans because honestly, I thought even though I love BTS, I wouldn't be too disappointed if I couldn't go. Yeah, same. I'm like this. I'm a fan of them. I love them, but it's not like I don't. Um, I think that I will always support whatever they do because they are. I said this to my army friend. They are like my first love. They are the reason why I entered into this K-pop world. Um, but I'm in this point where I just love all the groups, because I'm a multi-stan. I love a lot of them. So, I'm much more like, it's like I have, I'm more excited about seeing all the things, the younger generations, what they do, what is trending, and of course that you cannot compare, it's not the same as when I first started when I first found BTS, their content, everything that they were doing, for me it was like, oh my god, no one does it like them, because I didn't know about K-pop, system. So I was like, oh, this is them, this is their thing, they do this, they do these shows, or they do these things. And actually then I learned that a lot of idols do content similar. And and once I started, getting into, thanks to this channel, I started getting into, you know um, all these all this content and amazing artists. I think that despite the controversies, the scandals, and everything that we know about, the entertainment industry, we know that is unfair. Um, but I think that the work that they put, the details, the training, um, I think that I cannot choose the same one group, because there's a lot of them that they are trying to make it, or that they are doing their best, um, to entertain people. So I have a huge respect for them. And also because if I compare it to maybe I don't follow other artists, like nor people from my country. I don't like the music that, younger generations do here on my country. I don't like it. um, American singers. Like I remember, I used to be a fan when I was a teen, and now I don't. I don't find the appeal. Um, but with K-pop, I was able to connect with, what it's like to have a sort of consistency. With, they put a lot of work. And it's not just about being pretty, looking pretty, and that your videos are, pretty. Everything that they do and that they show, it's so detailed, and it's a system. It's a system because, of course, that things can change, and from generation to generation, there's going to be changes. Um, I would say the exposure to the American market, in American, and having this English lyrics, I think that's not something that I would see beneficial. Like I think that if you can sing Korean and just throw some English phrases, and I'm okay. I'm okay. I don't need English songs. Um, but it's so I think that I don't know. It's so interesting how the way they work. Nobody works. The training, the life of an idol is something like the responsibilities. There's a lot of work, a lot of people working on them, working for them and with them. So it's just very admirable. It's very admirable, especially in a world, or in a time where people just record, covers on the internet or on YouTube, and on a social media platform, and they go viral, and then they have their moment, and for K-pop artists, it's like a whole, like, it's a very slow but concise, group of, uh, you know effort, effort, and it's systematic. All of them work like this, Um, uh, Sometimes idols are better far away. Yeah, sometimes you don't want to know that much about your artist. I think that there has to be a level of mysteriousness, a distance, a distance. I always listen to their old music because it's so comforting. I love nostalgia. Yes. My favorite old song of them that I always go and go back and listen is House of Cards. I love that song. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because see, with I know I cannot say about K-pop Demon Hunters because they do the song is in Spanish, right? My godson loves. The other day I was playing. Because he always has it on the background, the song, but he has it in Spanish, of course. I didn't know there was a Spanish. I only heard the English version, but he was listening to the Spanish version, and I was like, oh, and I was like, because he's a small child, he's barely 6 years old, so he does like this Minecraft and this, sometimes he watches things on YouTube and it's so random what it appears, some drawings or some animations are very creepy, and he watches them all because YouTube sometimes it's just the algorithm is very odd. So maybe he's watching like a Minecraft kind of video, and then there's some creepy creatures in there. I don't know, but he loves them. He loves creepy things. So I was telling my his mom, I was like, if he likes, because he's always replaying the Golden Song, and I was like, if he likes, because of course his mom doesn't know anything about K-pop, so I was like, do you want me to Google for him, some K-pop groups, that he could listen that is more like, on the bubbly for children, if songs for children, and I found a sort of, a playlist of. He got mostly NCT Wish, not NCT Wish, sorry, NCT Dream when they were, debuting. NCT Dream songs, some Twice songs, some Got7 very early songs, very playful like that, but very innocent. So he was, paying attention. He was like, "Oh, these are real people," and I was like, "Yeah, these are real boy and girls," because he was watching the animation, so he didn't know that there were like real people that can dance and sing and that. And then I showed him the cover of the Soda Pop song that this. There's this unit that I think that they did it on SM Town. Could it be that it was NCT Dream G song, Rise Wombin? I think that there was Jamin also of NCT Dream. Who else? Who else? I think that it was the three of them. Could it be? Well, they were singing that song, and he was like, "Oh, I know that song." The Saja Boys. But yeah. Okay, I'm going to start with the readings, just in case my internet leaves me. I have this recommendation that I believe is a Japanese man artist. Chatalino asked me for him. It was Daiki Tsuneta. Daiki Tsuneta. Then I have Cheng Lei, a Chinese actor, Cheng Lei. I'm going to read for Jaehyun of NCT because he's back. Finally, he's back. We welcome Jeffrey. Then I'm going to read for the Chinese actress Shen Yue. The Boyz, some Taurus idols, the Boyz new. Got7 Bambam, Yoshi of Treasure, Dayoung of Cosmic Girls, and 18 Taki. These are Taurus people I have. Okay. I'm going to start with the first one, that is Daiki Tsuneta. Daiki Tsuneta. Let's see for him. Let's see how things are doing. A lot of work. He's working on something. Oh. Yeah, he's working on something. There's these two women in here, so maybe collaboration, or he's working for these two women. We start for Daiki Tsuneta. We have the Star card. We have the Knight. Sorry, the Knight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles in the middle. The Queen of Wands. The Queen of Cups. And then I have from the Oracle of the Earth's Wisdom, I have the card of Strength. Strength. So yeah, I think that it's very, it's definitely there's a lot of willpower. If this is, I don't know if she recommended him because he's a Taurus, but if he is an Earth sign, I see a lot of, Earth sign, energies, or, willpower. That's what I want to say, willpower. So he's really building something, literally. And I think that he's really good at creating things. I can kind of see him. I don't know if he's like an artist, that he creates things with his hands, that he does, labor like this. But he seems to be very, that probably his projects, they do take a while to be created or see the final results. But I think that he's very resourceful. Also, he's very consistent. It's like he doesn't get distracted. But also probably he's super famous because we have the Star card, and we have the Knight of Pentacles. So maybe he was able to maybe create a hit or create something that was very popular or was very successful. So he's like, well, because, I created this, or, I was able to do well with this, I'm going to keep working to keep delivering better things or keep doing better. I think that also he's a perfectionist. He doesn't want to, do things that are predictable. It feels very artistic. Yeah, I think that he's someone with a vision. He's someone that he I don't know what I want to say. Like he really puts his body to work. It's not about mental, like, oh, I came up with an idea. No, he's more like, I'm putting my body, my energy, my concentration to do this. And probably, his work, it takes a while for him to deliver it. But, if he's a Taurus man, it sort of makes sense, that it takes a while. Like he needs, at this moment, he needs his time before he releases it, because he's very specific about how he does things, or how he he wants, maybe it's about quality, maybe it's about things being really good. He wants to do better. Definitely he has like bigger dreams or bigger ambitions, but yeah, I see these two women here. So I wonder if they are like, if this is not for him, and he's going to give it to these two women, that they are powerful. themselves, or they are very, very popular. So I see that they are like, I'm working, and then, what I do is going to go to them, because they are here as final sort of like, being like, okay, with what you give us, we are going to make our best. And definitely I see that these are very, successful women themselves, very powerful, influential. So maybe he will collaborate, or he will be working with them. But it seems like everything that he's doing, it has to do, is going to be completed when he shares it with these two women. So maybe it's not that he does solo work, or he like, okay, I'm working for me. He's like, more, no, I'm going to be working with these two women, or it could be a woman with, different characteristics, a woman that is artistic, because sometimes when I see two queens, sometimes I think it makes me feel like it's not literally two people. It's more like a side, like this Queen of Wands that is very powerful and magnetic. And the Queen of Cups is like that softer side of hers, or the artistic part of her. Is like the manifestation of her duality, or her ability to be sensitive or vulnerable, like an actress. It comes attached with her. It seems like they are two women in one. But yeah, with the strengths, yeah, I don't see in his cards, at this moment, and what's available for him in the near future. I don't see that this man, has come from difficulties, or that he had like, a tough season, or a tough past, or there was some insecurities. No, I don't see it. But what I do, find it interest is that we have the strengths card here. So I wonder, if he, because I said the word willpower a lot, so I wonder if he really needs strength. There's something about him, sort of being like, I have to be strong. I have to be strong. I have to stay committed. I have to keep, working. I have, like, him reminding himself that he has to be strong. That he has to remain, even if there's like changes and things happen. So for him, I think that this year is about him being stronger. So I wonder if where he comes from, or in another time in his life, if he felt like his willpower was a bit weak. Because there's something about him, like sort of like be like, I have to do better, I have to do better. He seems to be like, yeah, very focused, but maybe, it's because he needs to do this to keep being strong. There's something about him being like, I will not break. I have to be strong. I have to be strong. I have to make it. So I wonder if he had moments of weakness. This is why, the strengths card is like, no, this time I'm going to be strong, or this time I'm not going to give up, or this time I'm not going to break. Probably, maybe there's a lot of stress. I don't see it in his past, recent past. And I think that he actually comes from a recent success, or an exposure to success and stardom. But maybe he has a bit of inner insecurity. He's like, I'm afraid I could get distracted and lose my willpower. So he stays, very focused, because he knows there's a bit of weakness in there. So yeah, if you know this artist, please give me feedback. Let me know, how he's doing. Okay. I'm going to read for the actor Cheng Lei. Chinese actor. Let's see what's available for him. This is my first time I really reading for him. Cheng Lei. Very nice. Very nice. Wow. Okay. 6 of Pentacles. 6 of Swords. 2 of Cups. 4 of Wands. 3 of Cups. A lot of connections. I think that he knows a lot of people, or he had worked with a lot of, very, I don't want to say like powerful people or influential people. I think that he's really friends with people. He's like really friends with people. And then I have the card of creativity. So I think that this year he's on fire. He's super inspired. I don't know if he's working on something, or at the moment if they are releasing, a work of his. But yeah, I see a lot of like, I think that his career or his career decisions, or when he decides to participate in a project, it seems like things advance really quickly with him. He probably is the kind of person that once he says yes to a process, or he says yes to a project, he advances, and it's just so great what he does, and it's so effortlessly. I think that his career is rising. It's like going up. But I wonder if if there's a drama of his, or if there's like a movie of his. There's a huge a focus in here. We have the 2 of Cups in the middle. So I'm like, it's all about who he works with. So could it be that people ship him with his co-stars, or because? But I think that the current one, or if there's not like a series now, if he's going to, if there's going to be a premiere of a new work of his, his relationship or his chemistry with the co-star, with his co-star, with the female lead, I would say, is super important. And actually is key this year, is key. He's going to have like a super good chemistry, and I can see people shipping. If they haven't shipped him with a female lead, maybe they had in the past, but how long has it been that I've been talking? Do you know, Draculaura, how long has it been since my mic died? Because I couldn't see it, because it's so, let's see if I can get it here. Because, it's sort of like, it falls, so I cannot see the light. Because my sweater is so, thank you for paying attention, thank you. But yeah, the 2 of Cups is like, there could be a bit, of, there could be something, emotional between him and a potential co-star. There could be a strong connection, a sensitive connection, like a very close, a very close chemistry that you are like, wow, they really are acting like a real couple right now. So, even though like I said, I don't support, like the shipping and that, because, they are doing their work. But I think that there's something about his love life, or maybe if there's people that they're like, I think that he could be dating this person. There's something about his love life, that his love language, that is going to be very obvious this year. So maybe if people suspect, maybe there's something going on. But it's just that he's just so, there's something just so, he's so good with people. I don't know much about him, but I think that every connection he makes, he's so good at it. He's so, charming, and he's really someone that he takes his time to get to know the people that he works with. And he's so, authentic, that there's this level of like, we are really close. Yeah, what you see is actually like this. We are really close. And the Four of Wands and the Three, the Three of Cups. There's this feeling of like, we are going to see him also, hanging out with, I want to say, like, the people that he works with, they end up being his friends. Like, he builds friendship in this very, public scenario, or in this industry that is like, yeah, everyone is having fun, everyone is being pretty, everyone is laughing. But for him, it's like, I truly, like, I really have fun in this industry. He's very, like, cheerful. He's very positive. And I think that people like him. There's something about him being very likable, or him just being very, authentic, and he just makes great connections. And I think that people really love him. They really love to work with him. So, even if he has, like, characters where, he is a bit scary or intimidating, not at all. He's super friendly. He's so friendly. He's so, like, authentic about connections. This is why if people ship him with someone, or if they're going to, this year, there's something about, a couple. There's something about, him and another person. And then people maybe speculating like, oh my God, are they close? Because so it seems, I think that there's something here about him being, very close to someone, and that it looks from the external side, it looks like it's really good chemistry. So, but, or maybe people this year are very focused on him and another person, of them together. And they're like, yes, it's him and another person. It's like, I don't want to say like he cannot be popular on his own, but it seems like with him, there's always someone else, is he the favorite, but then, him and his co-star, or him and another two actors, like it's like a trio. So I think that he's also, he brings good luck to his, his co-stars. He brings good luck. He brings good moments. And he probably brings, like, a lot of, like, exposure as well. I wonder if he's also social, because I can see him, like, going places, or maybe he hasn't. He's going to start to go to, very public events, or showing up to parties, celebrations, and it's going to be very public. But definitely, I think that, yes, the key is collaboration for him this year, is to collaborate, is to, it's not about him, because I don't know about his work, but it seems like he's still in this stage in his career where, yeah, he probably is being talked about. He has fans. He's popular, but it's always him and someone else. It's like, maybe he's not the protagonist. He's like another person. And like, there's a bigger star, bigger than him, and then there's him. And I think that this year it's also about that. It's about him, sort of advancing his career. He's not being, like, singularly, like, point out and be like, oh, we love him. It's more like him and someone else, so this is why I think that, here I see good vibes, excellent teamwork, a lot of fun, a lot of spontaneity. So I think that he's a great person, and he builds really good relationships. He's not the type of person that he's like, oh, I'm here to work and I'm being super professional. He's more like, like, oh, what can I do for you? Let me help you. Creativity. He's super creative as well. I think that people should give him a chance because he's really creative on his own. Maybe, he has very interesting ideas, or he brings ideas about, how to portray his characters. And I think that this year it's all expansion for him. It's all about, you really see the potential in him, and he's so in tune, with, with how to elevate, his work. He's very resourceful. I think that this person is just, he's much more than an actor. I don't know if it could he be a singer as well, but I think that people hasn't seen it yet. Maybe this year you will start seeing other sides of him. Because he's such a positive also experience and influence. He's not, he's not troubled, and also he's not that ambitious, he collaborates. This is the good thing about him. He collaborates. He's not looking for the spotlight. He just wants to keep working. He wants to keep working. It's not about, I want to be number one. No. He has 2 new dramas in production. Okay. The Lament of Autumn and Molly. Yeah, he's super nice. Super nice. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Very talented as well. Also, he's positive. There's something about him, like, for example, if you ship him with someone, even if you ship him with, someone of the same sex as him, he's like, I'm all for it. Like, he is very, open like that. For him, it's all about positive interactions. So he probably is very close to his fans as well. Because he's like, without them, I'm nothing. Without the others, I'm nothing. Very respectful. I love him. I love him already, and I don't know who he is. But I love his attitude. I think that it's so refreshing. Because I'm sure that that industry, it mustn't been easy, to be part of such a strong competitive, industry. Sorry, guys. Okay. I'm going to do an update, finally, a tarot reading update for NCT Jaehyun, because he's finally out of the military. So, yay, welcome, Jeffrey. Let's see what's available for Jaehyun. Let's see what energies are available for him. And yes, let's wish him luck. Let's see. A lot of major arcanas for him. A lot of major arcanas. But also he's coming back, he's coming back very blessed. He has a different aura, and I think that this aura, it's very, it's very, it's all about the self. I think that he has become much more mature, or, I have the 2 of Cups here. 2 of Cups. We have the Empress. We have the Magician. We have the Hierophant. And we have the Justice card. And then I have from the Oracle of the Earth's Wisdom, I have the card of Blessed Sight. So definitely, I think that yes, he does have, a blessed sight. I think that he's just, he's looking at his future. He's looking at his possibilities. He also has done very well in the military. He has done very well. He has completed his service with a lot of grace. Him, doing his part, but he hasn't stopped being himself. The Empress is also, is giving me this part of him being this Moon in Taurus person, and also him putting as a priority to this is his Aquarius sun, him wanting to collaborate with the community, or him helping others, or him being there for others, but at the same time he keeping, a sort of grace. There's something about him not losing his feminine side, in the sense that he hasn't, this experience hasn't make him tough. It hasn't, like maybe for some idols, the military, it has, made them tougher, or somehow made them a bit like stiff, and a bit like not just physically. I think that they come out of their being very, like like, there's a sort of shield that becomes with their expression. And I think that for Jaehyun, he's like, no, I never stopped being myself. I collaborated, I did my part, I helped others, I assisted others, but I never lost my Venusian side. I never lost my beauty. and also it's like he hasn't felt like, oh my God, this part of life or this work has made me stronger, or has made me like more like tougher. And he's like, no, not at all. Actually, like I think that he connected much more with creativity. Maybe, in the unit where he was, and the work, the labor that he had to do. It's more about being agreeable, like building connections and just working as a team, but also being nice. I think that he's like, I never stopped being nice. I never stopped being me. So I think that is so sweet. It's so sweet of him. He never lost his glow. His, even if maybe he was doing like some heavy labor, or like a very heavy task, he never lost his glow. He never lost his beauty. And I think that's so interesting. That he's like, I'm not, I cannot say like, oh my God, this experience, it had me, because I think that for some idols, it takes them a while to get out of that, the body language, where things have to be correct, and where things have to be like this. He's like, no, in my case, no. He had fun, actually, also. The Magician in the Middle. I think that Jaehyun comes back. Jaehyun comes back with a lot of wisdom, with a lot of talents. He probably had cultivated certain talents. He had mastered certain parts of himself. So definitely he comes back wiser. But also he comes back with a lot of, self-management. He's like, well, I learned that I can do certain things on my own, or that, I can stand up for myself, or that, the situation that I'm coming back to now, I know that you guys need me, So I think that with the Magician, I don't know why I want to say, could it be that they want him to launch a solo right away? I see the possibility. I see the possibility of like, we want you, we need you, we want you. So please, can you use your magic to entertain the masses, and also the masses, when I say the masses, I mean us, people that are fans of him. We are waiting for him. And he's like, I know, guys, I know, I know, guys. I know it. So he probably is going to have a solo very, very fast. Um, but he's like, he's like in this very powerful state, of like, I know that you need me. I know. Yeah, we have the Hierophant and we have Justice. So yeah, if things weren't fair in the past or in a recent past about him, they're going to start being very fair very soon because they need him. They need him, more than ever. And he knows it. So there's a bit of like, it's not like I'm doing what you guys tell me to do. It's more like you guys need to ask me for permission, or you need to say please, or you need to be, very, very nice with me, very, um, we need to have a very balanced relationship of respect and honesty. So yes, please, when you address me or when you talk to me, be more respectful, because you need me. So I definitely think that there's this sense of like, he definitely knows his value. He knows what is expected of him as well, and he's like ready. He's ready also to to show his charms, to show his growth. He's if he has to be put in the spotlight, just like the magician, to entertain people and to bring back a bit of fun times. Please, like, give us fun times. Please give us good news. Like, we need you here. And he's like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. So yeah, I think that can happen. But definitely there's much more ownership in Jaehyun's energy. That it's more spiritual than action. It's not so much about what he's going to do. It's more about the way I think that there's something about him adapting to the situation. If people are like, what do you think about this that happened? Or what do you think about this that is happening, in the group? And he's like, I'm just going to do my job. He's with the magician, it's like he's trying to be smart about it. Also with all these cards, he's not here to answer questions. He's here to deliver. He's here to keep the workflow going and also keep the creativity, the inspiration, and he's not here to answer your questions. Or maybe if people are like, oh, what do you think about this? He's like, I'm not talking. I'm just going to do my job. I'm going to be an entertainer, and also the Hierophant, the Justice, it feels very formal also. Like his relationship, is like, okay, this is my job. I'm going to, play my role. I'm going to come back and play my role. But there's nothing hidden also. I don't see things being hidden in here for Jaehyun. Jaehyun is not confused. He's not sad. He's not, like, oh, like what now? No. And also, whatever they're going to give him, or, what could be available for him, he's like, well, I will work. The only thing that he's asking is balance. He's asking like a very, fair situation. He's asking a very fair treatment, because we do have the justice in here, and they know it. So I think that also the communication, the arrangements are all going to be very proper. There's something just very proper about the way he's working with other people, or the way he's going to talk to this institution. But yeah, blessed side. I think that yes, Jaehyun, Jaehyun is very, blessed side. It sort of gives me like, I don't know if there was someone that they told me that Jaehyun could be a Pisces rising, or maybe he has a Pisces placement somewhere. But I think that, yeah, this could be him being an Aquarius as well. But, I think that there's something just very blessed about the way he views things, the way he views his situation. He feels very blessed because he's seen his future for what it is, and he's seeing possibilities and he's adapting and he's going to keep working. It's not, he's not affected nor, like, oh, what now? No. He's seeing things and people for what they are. But also, I think that this year is not about people. This year is about what he can do, and him using his talents. I'm hearing Kali. Wait, guys. Wait a second. Sorry, guys. Just that. Oh, sorry. I had to rescue Kali because she's on the other side. I don't know if they went to buy something and she was left all alone, and maybe she heard me talking through the wall and she was like meowing. So I had to rescue her because I know that she was not going to stay in there alone. So yeah, I have both cats in here. Just that she's going to come here and she's going to try to. I'm trying to hide anything that I can see that she can, like. I'm hiding her food as well, so she cannot grab anything because she's so. Oh, it's so cold outside. Sorry, guys. It's just like this. When you are a cat parent, you have to, make sure that they are okay. Can we see the cats later? I don't. I mean, Cali is around, but I don't know if they are. I'm just hoping they don't mess with my table and with everything that I have here, because Nevita was with me. She was sleeping on the other room, but now that Cali is here, they probably are going to start fighting each other, and they're going to be loud. I know them. And also, they don't like to be in a room. They fight when they are outside. They want to come in. They want to be here. But when they are in here, they want to get out. So I can see them interrupting me and just being but yeah, no, I don't think that I can grab them, because they are, especially Kali is huge, is so heavy. Like to grab them, I don't know. Maybe if she jumps on the table, you can see her. But yeah, I don't know. I hope that she doesn't start meowing, because or dropping things, because she's very she's very annoying like that. She's like very annoying. But they're cats, they need to come and go, and it's very cold outside. Like, I don't want to leave the door open for them, because it's very cold. Usually they stay at my dad's, so they have more rooms in there, but there's no one now, so I don't know if they went to buy something, to buy groceries, but they are not in there. So I took my chance and I went. Okay, I'm going to continue. Yes, avoiding family members. So real. Yeah, I am like that. Especially because, this is the thing with my dad, is that he must have talked to them on the phone, and he must have, like, have the conversation of, like, okay, we are coming over, we are, I'm sure they had talked about this, and he knew that they were going to come, but he didn't tell me anything. And that's that's something that it's so him, that it is bad, because if he lets me know, then I will arrange everything, and I will get my cats over here, or I will get my things, so I don't have to, because later, after this, usually on Sundays, after we have lunch and everything, I do have some consultations online, so I have to be here. I take a break, to have lunch, but I have sometimes I have consultations online, so I have to be here, and so my work doesn't stop. So it's not a regular Sunday for me. Okay. I'm going to read for this Chinese actress, Shen Yue. Shen Yue. Shen Yue. The Four of Wands today, it came out a lot. Yeah. Okay, we have the Queen of Wands. We have the Page of Cups. We have the Four of Cups in the middle. Seven of Pentacles. And we have the Four of Wands. And then we have the card of understanding. Now Nerita is meowing because she wants to get out. I know her. Wait, guys. Sorry. If I continue like this with my cats coming and going, I'm going to end this very, like it's going to take a lot of time for me to finish the reads. Okay. So for this actress, for Shen Yue, did I show you the cards? Yes, I did, I believe. Yeah, she's super emotional. She's very emotional about maybe people's reaction about her. I can see that she's very loved. Definitely there's a lot of openness, a lot of love towards her. She also is very strong, determined, a very passionate woman, especially about her work. She's super passionate and maybe, yes, she does have this very fiery attitude, very outgoing, very spontaneous. Like she will tell you things, like she thinks like, okay, this is my reality. Or if you say something to her, she's very responsive. She's very reactive. She could have also like a very short temper, but like a diva. I like her energy. But also inside, she's like very open to maybe to her fans. There's something just emotional about her, a bit vulnerable. I would say that maybe she opens up a lot, I would say, to her fans or the audience. So even though she may receive, love, admiration, and just a lot of positive feedback, and just people, she's definitely like very powerful. I don't think that people ignore her. I see that she's important in the industry. Or maybe she's very loved, and people really love to see her, and they really love how she is, because her character is very impossible to ignore. She probably has a lot of energy, so it's so it's so contagious, her energy. But also there's a lot of love. There's an emotional connection with the audience, or it's vice versa. It's like people being attached to her and being loving her so much, and she also loving them so much. It's just that maybe, this openness can lead to her feeling a bit overwhelmed by people's expectations, because usually when people love you very much, they expect a lot from you, or they want to get to know you better, or they want you to post more things, or they want to see you more, or they and I think that she's in this point in his career or in her life this year with the Four of Cups. There's this feeling of a bit of like, I'm like, I love myself, but and I love, my relationship with people and my relationship with fame. I'm not complaining, but I'm kind of a bit apathic this year. I don't know if this has to do with her choosing a new role, or something about her work, or what she's going to do next, that it feels like she's a bit like numb to the situation. She's like, could it be a bit burnout? Like she has been doing a lot, and now her energy feels a bit like, I kind of don't want to see people right now. Or if I have to do something, I will try to do as little as possible. I need to take a nap. And probably there's a bit of her energy just, receiving options, or maybe receiving attention, and her being like, yeah, I don't know if I will do this. Maybe, and probably this year people are going to notice this, sort of like a lower of energy from her, because she's usually super enthusiastic. So her be like, I'm seeing offers, or I'm seeing possibilities, and it's not my thing. I don't want to. I don't want to participate in this. I don't want to do this. Maybe this is like her energy now, or like the first half of the year is going to feel like this. Her being a bit like, disconnected from, the excitement that initially she had. She was initially very excited, or she was very much like, she was exposed, she was seen in different places, and now it's like, no, you're not seeing her that much. It's just that, she needs to recharge. This is why I'm like, this could be like someone that is a mix of introvert and extrovert, that she loves people, but I think that she does care a lot. And this comes, I don't know what people are saying online, or I don't see negativity, but I think that they expect a lot from her. And maybe people speculate a lot about her and about, I don't know, maybe it's about who she is or who she's with, or, and she's like, guys, give me a break, please. This year, just let me choose. Let me take my time to choose what I'm going to do next. Yeah, because I can see her slowly, going back to work, or, participating in something with the Seven of Wands and the Four of Wands, the Seven of Pentacles, sorry, and the Four of Wands, that I can see her slowly, going back to work. I don't think that it's going to be like a drama. I don't know if she's like working or she's set to be working on a new drama. I don't see about that. I think that it's more collaborations, like her being part of very fun activities, or just being out in the public, collaborating with others, in this environment, her being able to connect with joy and excitement and happiness, and just being. Why do I feel like she loves to do like running around and just, it's a very festive, like a festivity or something like this. It's just that for her it takes a while. She's sort of waiting for this event to develop, or she's waiting for a sort of season to start, and then she's going to be like, okay, I'm going to be there. I will be there. It's just that, her energy at the beginning of the year, it feels like she was like, it's not about her being sad nor anything, but I think that she needs to recharge. She needs to recharge because there's something about, she is strong, but at the same time, she's very sensitive. So it's difficult, for her to keep the energy up all the time. This is why we have the card of understanding. See? That is about her also reflecting on herself and understand that it's okay to, maybe, don't participate on this if you don't feel like it. If you don't want to do this right now, if you don't feel like this is the project for you, it's okay to not participate. I think that there may be a part of her that she's like, I'm kind of waiting for the best role and I'm not seeing it. Like everything that is being offered to me is not that attractive to me, or I just don't connect with this that I'm being offered. So sometimes, I think that for her it's all about, observing herself and trusting herself, trusting her instincts, trusting her intuition, and being like, if you don't feel like this is for you, don't feel pressured by others that you have to take this. Maybe there's people that they are trying to rush the process and they want to get her along, and they're like, you should join us, you should do this because, now everyone is doing it. And she's like, yeah, but I'm not feeling it. I don't think that this is for me. And I think that that's also very, it's very respectable, because I think that she needs to know herself a bit more. She needs to be patient with herself. This is why we have the card of understanding. It's about solitude. If you need to be a bit, away from people, if you need to recharge, if you need to connect with yourself, if you need to reflect, it doesn't have to be, drastic. Like I don't see a hiatus nor anything, but if you want to take your time to pick or wait until the right project arrives, you can do it. I think that 2025, it feels a bit like she needs to slow down. She needs to slow down. Maybe for someone like her, she's like, well, no, but, I could be missing something. You're not going to miss anything this year. If it doesn't resonate with her, if she doesn't want to take it, just don't take it. You are not going to miss anything. Probably this year is the year for other things or other people, and she can take this break, But I can see her, going back to activities, maybe later in the year. today my family members came as well, and I was hiding in my room before my mom came and got me. She knows I don't like, oh yes, I hate it. I think that is so it's so interesting because parents, I don't know if all the parents, but I don't know if it's Latin American parents or what, or but my dad does the same. I'm 41 years old and he still drags me to go and say hi to his relatives. And I'm like, they are here for you. They are in your house. Why do you come to my house and want me to go and see them? Like, oh, it's just so invasive. It's so invasive. Like, let me, if I don't go and say hi, it's because I don't want to. Don't you get the, don't you get the signals? No, it's so, oh my, so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. My cat, another cat, has gone out of the window, and she is on this roof. She's walking on this roof. Okay, I'm going to continue with the Boyz new. Okay, for the Boyz new, we have the Four of Wands, we have the Ten of Swords, we have the Two of Wands, we have the Hermit, and we have the Ace of Wands. And then we have the card of transformation. Yeah, definitely new. It's going through a transformation. This year it feels very transformative for him. He's adapting to whatever possibility he has. And I think that he comes from, moments of, it's a mix of joy, happiness, maybe to be with the group, but at the same time, there's this agony, there's this fear, there's this overthinking about the future, maybe, and not knowing, how to sustain the happy times. I think that things are very, things have been very tough, even for him mentally. It's just that, he's someone that this year he's so determined to, stop the suffering and see what's ahead or see what's available. Because he doesn't want to focus on the negative. He wants to keep advancing. There's a lot of wants, there's a lot of energy. So new, it's all about, it's all about advancing. It's all about planning ahead. It's all about, okay, what is next? I'm going to go and do this. So I think that, yeah, there's something about him just being very individualistic in this sense, because there's something about, Four of Wands and Ten of Swords. There's something about the collective, and I would say, probably the group, that it feels, for new, it feels like, when he is in the group, there's something about, sort of a collective agony that everyone brings out, oh, I suffer for this, or this was harsh on me, or everyone crying, or some of them crying, some of them, holding back their tears, some of them talking about, this was traumatic. And he's like, yes, we are going through this. Yes, these are very sad times. I also feel it, he also feels the agony. It's just that he's deciding to get out of this. He's deciding to get out of this mental prison of like, oh my God, we are so like, look what happened to us, one thing after the other. And he's like, I need to focus. I need something to do. For him to get out of agony is to do something, is to, it feels like his energy, and we're talking about Taurus man, but there's something, I don't know if he has Aries placements somewhere, maybe an Aries rising, but there's something about him being like, I will take an extra job. or I will do extra activities, but I will get out of this. There has to be a future. There has to be a future. And he probably was the one that he was like, if you guys don't want to come, I get it, but I will take this risk because I need to get out of this. I don't want to say like negativity, because obviously, the boys had been going through a lot of things. So it's understanding that they had suffered. But there's something about Neil being like, guys, how long are we going to talk about, suffering or past traumas? Like I need to I need to go out and do something. I want to set myself free from suffering. And this doesn't mean that he doesn't care. It's just that there's something about him being like, guys, I have to get out of this cycle, because maybe there's members that it seems like they affect the whole atmosphere, and they keep talking about the past, and this is what happened, they did to it, and he's like, yeah, I understand. Yeah, it's part of my history as well. I was there as well, but I need to do something. I need to work. I cannot stay in this suffering. I cannot. So yes, a bit individualistic, but yeah, this is his year. We have the Hermit and we have the Ace of Wands. So it's about him also evaluating himself, reflecting on himself, studying, maybe starting therapy or something like this. He's like, I need to know my resources, or I need to know how I feel about, because there's more work for him, more ideas, more projects, individual projects for new. So there's something about him being like, I need to get going, guys. I need to start a new cycle of activities, because I cannot be, all the time associated to like, oh, because, I don't know how many the members, because I have the 10 of Swords. So are the boys members 10? Because I remember they were 10, but now Hakneon is not. So could it be that they're 9? But yeah, with the 10 of Swords, it's giving me like 10 of us, like when the group was 10, it's something like this. But he's like, with the Hermit and the Ace of Wands, it's like, I have to do something for myself. I cannot stay, I cannot stay in the suffering. I know it sounds harsh, but I think that there's something that activated in him, that it's like, I need to go. And, instead of, getting stuck in like, oh my God, what is going on? I need to go and get a second job. He's like this. He's been super reactive. And yeah, transformation. He's transforming himself. He's not the same new Chani that He's another man right now. He's going through a transformation. This is why, when I say I'm reading for a Taurus man, a Taurus artist, and I know that he's a double Taurus, but there's a lot of Aries energy here. He's not thinking from a place of like, well, I will just stay wherever is comfortable for me. No. He's like, I need to get out. I need to go and be active. I need to do things. I need to get another job. I need to get another routine. I want to start this new job over here. Maybe it has nothing with the industry, but he's like, I need to go and do something. I need to be busy. He needs to be busy and he does this because he's isolating himself. He's like isolating himself from others, because he's like, I need silence, guys. I need silence. Like, I heard it all. I know our history. I was there. I know it. But I need to do something. I cannot be immersed. I cannot be immersed in the negativity. I cannot, there's something about him being like, this is not me. This is not how I want my fans to remember me. Like, oh my God, he suffered so much. He's like, no, I have to get going. I have to do something. I have to keep advancing. I don't know. I will come up with something. And he will. There's something new coming. There's another new project for him. Sorry, guys. I'm checking on my cats. Every once in a while, I'm checking on my cats. Okay, I'm reading for Got7 Bambam. I don't know where Bambam is. I hope that he's not in the military somewhere, but yeah, I'm reading for him. I don't know. It's been a long time since I seen Bambam. So yeah, I hope he's okay. But yeah. Okay, for Bambam, the High Priestess. We have the Moon card. We have the Fool in the middle. We have the Page of Swords. The Five of Swords. Why? Okay. Wait, I'm going to hold my horses. Divine love. Divine love for Bambam. So this is what I want to say. And I'm like, why? Because this is not the first time I read for Bambam. And every time I read for him, why people come after Bambam? And they're swords. So I'm sure that it has something to do with what he's going to say. Or if he said something, or if there's a comment, or if there's like a conversation, there's something about people going at him. Why? Why? Like, and oh my God! Like, I think that first of all, we start with the High Priestess and the Moon, and this is why, when I said where is, what has Bambam been doing, because I haven't seen much of him. But yeah, the cards that I have, from the first cards are the High Priestess and the Moon. So, there's something about the cards also letting me know that maybe if he was a bit MIA, there's something about, maybe, he going through a period that even if he is out in the public, he's sort of, there was moments of a lot of confusion in his, what he wants to do next, or maybe, he's been mysterious about future projects. He's not spilling the tea. He's not talking that much, or he's not that communicative as people usually know him for. I know he had like a YouTube channel, I believe. Probably he still works in there, but I haven't seen anything of his where he interviewed, other idols. But I think that with the High Priestess and the Moon, there was a lot of silence, or there was maybe recently, there was a lot of like him being a bit MIA. Because I think that, emotionally and mentally, he's also not sure what next step to get. Maybe he wants to start something new and he doesn't know, when you're like, I want something different, or I want to change my life, or I want to change my career, but I don't know from where to start, and so maybe if he was a bit silent, or if there's not much sharing from him, is because he prefers, the anonymatus, because I think that there's something about his career. Maybe I think that it's more about his life, his personal life, and his individual life, that it feels like he doesn't know where to start. I think that he wants to do things differently. There's something about him not being so sure or positive about, sort of taking up where he left off. Like he's like, no, I don't want to go back to do the same or what I had been doing lately. I want to do something different. But at the same time, there's a lot of confusion, a bit of inconsistency also from his part, maybe him not being in the right mind, to come up with an idea. It feels heavy. Also, it feels like probably he is like the creative team, probably he's the one that is in charge of everything. So this is why, if there's silence, or if there's confusion, or if there's like mixed signals about like, okay, what are you up to? And he's like, I had been resting, or I had been at home, or I had been, working on this, but then I changed, and now I don't know. There's this room also for like yeah, maybe I needed a break, or maybe I needed to not say much or not expose myself. Very sensitive times also, him feeling sensitive. In the middle, we have the Fool. So definitely, yes, Bambam is going to come back, with something original. I think that if he doesn't come back, it's because, maybe the ideas or the business that he has is like, this is not what I want to do, or this does not represent me. So this is why I'm not releasing something. But with the Fool, there's something coming. There's something new. Like, I want something different. He feels also that he's someone that he's very visionary also. His style can be a bit unpredictable, like a bit crazy, but he does come up with good ideas. It's just that there must be moments where he feels a huge responsibility or being very overwhelmed himself. Like, okay, if I don't come up with an idea, I have no one that can help me in this. It's just me. Or maybe he has people that actually work for him, so he's worried also. He's worried, like, okay, like they all depend on me, and I'm lost, and I don't have nothing. I'm not connecting with creativity right now, and he probably had been a bit worried about this, like, how do I launch this? How do I do this? Like, him not being sure also in himself. But then we have the Fool. So there's something about like him like, okay, I will start over. With the Page of Swords and the Five of Swords, there's the drama. Could it be that he launches something and there's people that are like, oh, this is plagiarism. You're copying someone. This sounds like someone's music or artwork, or again, problems with the internet. Again, this is why I'm like, there must be a reason why they don't like him so much. Like, because it seems like, he's trying to be inventive, or he's trying to be, not repetitive with, what he's going to bring. But then, people, the comments that they have about him, or, the criticism probably, people will not be very appreciative of whatever he brings. And probably, yes, associating and him probably having to defend himself. I mean, like, no, guys, it's not like you think. So, yeah, it's just, I understand why if he's taking a break, I kind of understand it, because this company, not the company, this industry is really harsh on him. So I wonder if they have like a specific issue with him, because there's not like a welcoming, like people being like, oh, this is so cool, or maybe even if it's not your style, you've been respectful towards him. And okay, he's a member of Got7, he's someone that he has like, he's young, he probably is experimenting with music or possibilities or, ways of creating content. So instead of people praising this, they're like, no, we don't like it. We think that you're copying this person. So there's a lot of like accusations coming. So it's very sad. Yeah, Divine Love. Yeah, I think that honestly, this is Toro season also, and he's a Toro, so, Divine Love. I think that also he should focus on, do not try to please others, because people are going to hate. I see it here, and I'm like, why? But he has to, remain focused with, just stay with the people that love you. Stay with your community, with your fans, just don't get fixated on the haters, because this is just people that are somehow waiting for him to launch something, and then they criticize. It's very automatic. It's like as soon as he releases something new, there's something coming for him. So it's very odd. It's very odd. Then, how people, maybe it's like a group of people that are like, professional haters. And they come at him. They don't even let him breathe. They don't give him the time to be like, okay, it is like this, or, guys, let me expand on my creation, on this new journey that, I'm going through, I'm experimenting, please, be kind. No, no. People are not kind at all. Okay, I'm going to continue with Treasure Yoshi. Treasure Yoshi. Oh. Okay. Two of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, the Five of Swords in the middle. We have the Queen of Pentacles and the Nine of Wands. And we have the card of Clarity. Clarity. Sorry, guys. This Clarity for Hoshi. Not Hoshi, Yoshi. Yeah. Yeah, he definitely has to have a lot of clarity because there's something. Oh my God. Yeah, we start with the Two of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups. So, has he released something individually? Has he been doing something individually? Or is he about to release something individually? Or maybe he had collaborated with someone. Because it feels like artistic, emotional. But could it be that there's criticism already? Because I see him defending himself from something. Defending this that he did with someone. It could be a collaboration. It could be like a very ambiguous kind of a scenario. Like, I don't think that is with Treasure. It's more like, well, or I'm friends with this person, so, yes, we did this, or we had this idea. And in the middle, I see him like the Five of Swords, him having to defend himself, or him having to say something, or just, calm people down. Like, don't be like that, or don't be disrespectful to my friend, or, to whoever I'm associated. Like, and also I think that there's something just very, if this is about collaborations, because I think that it's about other people and him being in the middle, or him being associated, or his name being brought up. But I think that he's like, why are people always, assuming the worst? And also there's certain, if this is collaborations, there's certain, duos or certain participations that he's like, I just, participate because it's what we have to do. It's somehow what is expected of us. It's not that deep. It's not that intentional. It's more like it's part of the work. So, like, because the Two of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups is giving me like, yeah, there's familiarity, but also it's like, this is something that someone asked me to do out of nowhere. They saw me that I was passing by and they were like, oh, can you do this with us? And he's like, well, yes, okay. Because, there's good vibes and everything is cool. But then there's criticism. And I think that he just feels very offended by this. He feels very offended by, people's speculations, or maybe people just, trying to be, specific. We don't like this, or we don't like these people, or we don't like you, or maybe people coming for him and being like, we like this person, but we don't like you. So he feels like, oh my God, like, the hate is so unnecessary. Like, why? There's this bad vibe. So if I do something, you criticize it. And if I don't do something, you criticize it as well. So it's like he's also in this year, he's in his no BS, the era. So probably if you come for him, he's going to respond. He's going to respond. He's going to be super sharp, super sharp. Because there's another woman as well. The Queen of Pentacles and the Nine of Wands. So could it be that in the near future he also collaborates, or if he mentions a woman, this Queen of Pentacles is more influential, is like probably more popular. This is not about a random collaboration. This is more like this person is popular and maybe she has a lot of fans. So there's also like, if he does collaborate with her or if he does mention her, there's also going to create some chaos. So I would advise him to stay away from collaborations, like, because people are like, they are attacking him, and it's like, it's so like, why? Like, it's not that deep, it's just, it seems like for him, it's like, even the people that we mention, is because they are being brought up, or a collaboration happens or an association happens, or I just happen to be in the room and this person, this colleague of mine just pass by, someone from another team or something like this, and we just talk or say hi, or we do something together, but it's not that deep. It's just that people, I don't know, I don't think that it's fans, but there's something about people being very intense. And I don't know if they have an issue with him in particular. They're like, no, because he said this, or he looked a certain way. So I would say, is Yoshi talkative? Is he, about saying something or doing a live stream and just spilling tea or something like this? Because maybe people are like, this that you said, just very, very odd, a very odd year for some idols, just very heavy on criticism. With the kind of clarity, see, he, he probably will try to clarify. If there's like a rumor of something, he will try to clarify it. But I think that, people, I think that he has it clear. If there's like accusations of him being a certain way, he has it very clear in his mind that, that he is, that his intentions are really, are really pure, or that he is a good person. It's just that there's something with, certain people being intense, like, oh, you didn't do this, or you looked funny when you did this, or what about the comment that you did, or that face that you did, it looks like you were shading someone. And he's like, no. Okay, then I'm going to read for the other Tauros in the group. I believe this is Hyunsuk. I'm rushing because I don't know if my cat... It's very early yet, but, Hyunsuk. Okay, let's see Hyunsuk. Hyunsuk of Treasure. Well, for him it feels more light for him. It feels more light. It feels like, he also feels very responsible for the group. He's also very, like, but his experience is that he is more accepting, I would say, or maybe they treat him better. I don't know, but yeah, for him, 9 of Cups. We have the 9 of Wands. We have the Ace of Cups. We have the World card, and we have the Hierophant. And then we have the card of Freedom. So, see, I think that he is, this year, it feels like he's more free. He's, he has things to do. There's like a new beginning, maybe a new artistic opportunity. Could it be a solo for him or something like this? Because I see him very much focused on himself, or maybe him being in the center. Or if he's a creator for the group, I see the creation very open. But there's also a freedom. I think that maybe this year he is able to reach a sort of agreement, because I see a company here. And I think that his relationship with the company is slowly advancing, is slowly opening. Maybe the communication is better, maybe they give him more freedom. So I see that, he's inspired again. He's very much inspired. Yeah, because I think that, maybe at the beginning of the year, yeah, the Nine of Cups and the Nine of Wands, maybe, yes, I think that this year is positive for him. It's just that, with maybe him getting something that he wanted for him or the group, there's also a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of heaviness, there's a lot of like, like, oh my God, I have to do this double or triple, so it feels very, very, very heavy. It feels very heavy, even if he's getting what he wants, or he's getting a wish come true or a wish granted. They are giving him what he wants or what he had requested. But with that, there comes a lot of responsibility. They expect a lot from him. They expect a lot from him. And of course, that he's able to manage this stress. He's someone that he's like, yeah, I know how it goes. I know how it goes. So yeah, I see that a creation of his, this is why I'm like, it could be a solo for him, or also it could be with the Ace of Cups. It could be for the group. I see a very bright, new beginning, very creative, very open, very also abundant, for him to maybe, yeah, bring the group together, bring the fans, bring the even the company, it feels like he's bringing these artistic vibes, the lyrics, the artistic, sentimental kind of, sound. And I think that he's bringing the inspiration, maybe, in YG, finally the gates are opening, and they are letting their artists express themselves. And in this case, from Hyunsuk, I do see it. I do see that he's one of those artists. And he feels very productive. He feels very potent. It feels like he's someone that he has it. When you're like, does he have the inspiration? Yes, he does have it. It's just that it takes a lot of responsibility. It takes a lot for him to sustain this. Maybe long hours, maybe a lot of preparation, him being very tired. But definitely he's creating something beautiful, very meaningful. Yes, we have the World card and the Hierophant. So, I think that, yeah, finally a chapter of YG is coming to an end. So I don't know if there's new people coming into YG, like as directors or CEOs or managers, or, there's new people. There's a new era coming for YG. So maybe he's going to get much more freedom or a special role, because there's a new paradigm. There's a new chapter. There's a new YG coming. There's like a renewal. There's something new that is changing in the company, in the way they had been educating or training their artists. There's like a new era where things are more free, or where, the people that wants to create, or the people that are creative and sensitive, artistic, just like Hyunsuk and others, they're going to have their chance. They're going to have the possibility to expand. Yeah, we have the kind of freedom. So for him, it's like, thank you for letting me do what I want to do. I feel better. I feel less restricted. I feel more free. So this is great. I love it for him. I love it for him. I don't know about the battery of my mic. If it runs out while I'm talking, I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay. Okay. I'm reading for, Cosmic Girls Dayoung. Let's see, for her. Cosmic Girls Dayoung. She's another one. See, when I started the reading, when I it got to my, to the point when I read for NCT Jaehyun, after his discharge of the military, he got, the Empress among all the cards, and I was like, this is a very Taurus card, very Venusian card, and I mentioned the word grace, and she got, from the oracle, she got the word of grace as well. So I think that this is a very Taurus kind of Taurus placement, Taurus sun kind of, ability, aptitude, that even when things are, not comfortable, they are not fair, they are not easy, they have a sort of grace, they have a sort of beauty, they have a sort of rhythm that, allows them to also, conduct themselves with dignity. Even if things are not that fancy and things are not that cool, they make it look like they're having the time of their lives. Okay, like I belong here. Yeah, I'm a star. And I think that this is the advice for Dayoung. The Knight of Wands. We have the 5 of Cups. We have the 6 of Swords in the middle. We have the Justice. And we have the 9 of Wands, and then the card of Grace, as an advice for her. So yeah, I think that, definitely things have never been easy for someone like Dayoung. Maybe, yes, being part of her company, or being part of a group, things has never been, like given to her. She had always had to work extra hard to have her moment, or, defend herself and being like, I want this for myself. So I see that she is someone that she's a fighter. She's literally a fighter. She's not like that chill and like, well, I will wait for opportunities to drop in my lap because, I'm so popular. There's a lot of work. And also there's a lot of no's, a lot of negativity. When you're like, when you want to look for an opportunity and people are like, no, not you. Maybe next time, so she's like used to the feeling of like, I have to fight for what I want to do. The Knight of Wands and the 6 of Cups. See, her also having to deal with probably bad news, or just, people in general being very discouraged about their circumstances. Maybe people being like, oh, we lost this opportunity, so we are not doing this. So yeah, we had to do this, but it was scheduled, but then it was canceled. So for her, it's like, I have to defeat this sort of like defeated kind of, feeling of like, oh my God, we didn't get what we wanted. She's like, no, I will fight this. I'm tired of people telling me no. Like, I will go and get my chance. I will go and get my opportunity. She's definitely, she's a fighter. She's someone that had built, I would say, whatever she has or whatever advances she's having, it's all her doing. It's all her willpower. It's all her moving, going places, talking to people, activating also, just like I said, for another Taurus idols, it's this tiny bit of Aries energy in them that is like, you gotta move. And also them being very focused also. In the middle, we have the 6 of Swords. So there's, she's moving places, she's changing, she's advancing, she's no longer in the same position. And this is what she wanted. She wanted to unlock her possibility to go to different places, to, people from different, environments or different places to know her name, to give her a chance. So I think that we have to congratulate Dayoung, because she has been very brave. There's a lot of work also, a lot of energy. And Justice and 9 of Wands. See, I think that the what's available for her, or the possible future, is that, there's a lot of resistance to fairness. So she will have to fight, she will not be able to relax. this year. She will have to keep still, resisting unfairness, and she will have to still be asking for things, to be balanced. And she will have to be very protective and very, just very intentional with like, I'm still going to fight for my right or for my opportunity and for things to be fair for me. I can see her doing this. I can see her getting a bit of, more fair treatment. It's just that, as always, it demands extra effort and character from her. She will have to, be strong and resistant and resilient, and being like, okay, you gave me this opportunity. Yeah, even though I'm tired and you're not making it easy for me, I'm going to do it anyways. Just because she's like, I'm trying to find, what is for me. There's something just very honorable also about her. She's like, I don't want to steal nothing for someone else. I want what it is mine, what I can get for me. She's so strong like that. There's a lot of individuality, and just like, when I read for the Boyz New, the same. I got the same vibe. Like, I cannot stand in this sort of sad energy of like, oh my God, because we are not getting this, or we are sad. So she's like, I have to go. I have to go and do something on my own, because otherwise I feel like I'm losing myself. I cannot stay stuck in the negativity, in that, oh, you will not get this, or you're not good enough for this, or no, this is not for you. She's tired of the no's, and this is why she kept fighting. She kept pushing it until she got, this advance that we see today. She's very admirable. Yeah, grace, never lose your grace. Even if she's like this gladiator, never lose your grace. People love you because you are very graceful, because you are very girly, or you are very, just very, there's something just very Venusian, sexy, sweet, feminine about her, very classy. It's like, don't lose it. Don't lose it. Even if you're fighting, with all your forces, don't lose your grace, because this is why people love her. That she's so graceful, that she's so beautiful also. She's a lady. She's a lady. It's just that she can also be tough. She can also put on the armor, and the helmet, and be like, I'm going to war. I'm going to fight you. I love her. I love her. We need these women. We need these women in the industry. But I love it that she shows, like the cars show, that her journey is not that pleasant. It's like there's a lot of push and pull, and she's decided to get out of the negativity. It's like, there has to be something I can do. There has to be something for me. Okay, the last one I have on my list is A-Team Taki. A-Team Taki. Does anyone know how to, I don't know, because not many people are here now, but does anyone know how to put the hashtag of A-Team? Because I tried to do it, and with that symbol, it's impossible. So I don't know, how do I do it? Do I put an A before team? Because I wanted to mention them, but I don't know how. Okay, let's see for A-Team Taki. A-Team Taki. He's very young, right? I haven't tried it. Oh, thank you. I don't know much how to spell it. So It's more on TikTok than on IG. Okay, for Taki, we have 8 of Swords, we have the 4 of Wands, we have the Moon in the middle, we have the 7 of Pentacles, and we have the Ace of Swords. And then we have the card of Truth. Truth. Yeah, this member in particular, he wants to speak up more. You know, maybe he's a good communicator, but he hasn't been given the room to talk or to express himself. You know, there's something about, you know, people just not letting him express himself. Could it be that you know, there's a certain restrictions about what they can say and what they cannot say? Or maybe could it be it's about language? But he's just a very honest and very, you know, eloquent person. So, but I see that, no, guys, you don't say that, or we don't talk about this, or, you know, so he's like waiting for a sort of liberation from this. Yeah, we have the 8 of Swords and the 4 of Wands. So see, I think that there's something about him having, you know, a lot of restrictions. Probably, you know, I don't know if there's someone that they're like, you know, you guys shouldn't talk about sad things, or about if something is troubling you, you shouldn't talk about this, or you shouldn't mention like, oh my God, yeah, we had it tough. Because they are like, no, you have to be united, and you know, there has to be one sentiment, and that sentiment is that you guys are happy. You know, and he's like, but well, you know, sometimes I get a bit overwhelmed, or sometimes I am confused about myself and about my future. You know, it's very strange. I wonder, is he very young? Probably he's very young, because, you know, with the Moon in the middle, and I believe, is he a Taurus? Maybe, yeah, he was recommended because he's a Taurus. But if he's a Taurus and having the Moon card, you know, I wonder what energies, what combination of energies he has, because it feels like he doubts himself a lot, or he is in this point, you know, whether, you know, he's like, I want to speak my truth, but they don't let me. So maybe, you know, he's a bit self-conscious, or he's like just like very much immersed in his emotions, and he's like, there's moments where I feel lost, where I don't understand where I'm going, or I don't understand, you know, where I'm going. I don't understand my path. I don't understand what I'm doing here. You know, there's a lot of confusion in him, in his perception. So I wonder, could it be that it has to do with communication, or that it has to do with misunderstandings in communication, that he feels like there's, you know, most of the time I have no idea what they say, what they're saying, or what they're asking me. You know, he's a bit like, and people don't explain things to him. You know, he probably needs more explaining, or he needs people to slow it down and just being more patient with him, you know, because there's something that he feels lost. He feels like there's moments where I don't understand what they're saying. They're telling us to do this and this, but there's moments where usually I'm in the darkness. I don't understand. I act like I understand, and I act all happy. But he's like, there's moments where I don't understand, and I want to understand. But he's like, I don't get it. Or maybe they tell him to do something, and then they're like, no, you don't do. You stay there. You don't do it. And he's like, did I miss something? You know, he's very confused. He's very confused. So I wonder, you know, what is going on with him, you know, when the 7 of Pentacles and Ace of Swords. See, there's something about him slowly, you know, I think that he's not there yet. You know, I don't know if this is about his abilities, or his abilities to you know, learn a new language, or learn, you know, like communicational skills. I don't know if that's a thing in English. Sorry if I just made it up. But there's something about speaking up, or maybe communicating, that he's still green in that process. You know, maybe he needs more lessons, or he needs to get extra lessons, and it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. You know, with him, I definitely see the Taurus energy, and also he could be very young and inexperienced also. So there's a bit of, you know, he's a bit clueless. He's like, you need to guide him, you need to coach him as well. and he doesn't have that. He doesn't have like a mentor. There's no one here that is helping this poor child. So I'm like, how do you expect him to learn, fast and adapt? And he's like, you should know this. You should know that this goes like this. And he's like, but I'm confused. I don't understand what you're talking about. And I think that that's also is responsibility of people training him, because they are sort of taking away his joy, because it seems like he cannot say like, hello, I think that, I'm not understanding, I'm not understanding, and this is getting in the way of how I'm presenting myself, because I sort of have to pretend and smile and pretend like I get it when I don't get it. So yeah, he's a bit confused at the moment. He needs more time. I think that he will get it at the end, but it's like people need to hear. Like I need to tell people that, this is my reality. Like there's moments where and could it be that there's something about him not seeing, like because the moon is also giving me like my eyesight. I cannot see well. I cannot read. I don't understand. And the truth, the truth. I think that him. This is why I'm like, they should give him a platform. They should put him more, him opening communications maybe with fans, and him talking about it, because this actually will make him more relatable. We have the God of truth. So I think that there's nothing wrong with him, admitting or talking to people and be like, guys, there's moments where I mess up, or there's moments where I'm very confused. I cannot understand this. And maybe, him opening up to audiences actually can make the fans or maybe people get more close to him and be like, like, or maybe even demand better treatment for this member, or being like, guys, you should help him out. It's just that I think that they are avoiding, like they don't want him to say anything negative. This is the thing. This is why they're like, if you don't understand, just go with the flow and smile. And he's like, but I cannot go through my career like this. Especially because eventually he's going to say it, because we have the truth. We have the God of truth. So at some point he's going to spell the T, or there's going to pass a few months and he's going to be like, guys, I had troubles with maybe language, or maybe, understanding certain things. I couldn't see right. I don't know. But he has the potential of improvement, definitely. This is why, this is not him in the future. This is what he's going through at the moment. He's a bit lost. There's not mentors in here. There's not like, a person that is like, let me help you, let me guide you, let's do this together. No, it's like you are on your own. If you don't get it, just, fake it till you make it, something like this. And I think that's very, unfortunate. But I think that he will spill the tea at some point. He will talk about it, because he's very truthful. He's like, well, this is what is going on with me. I recently stopped going into TikTok super often, and my life has gotten so much better. I forgot how overwhelming social media is, and you can really focus on your life. Oh, yes, I agree. I agree. Yes, definitely. Yeah, you do what is good for you. In my feed, I only have like funny cats and cute cats. Creations, and also I follow content creators that they do reviews on music, and not music so much, but movies that I like. People that know about the cinema, the story of cinema. They talk about the details in the scenes, and what makes a movie so great or so special. So yeah, that's what my feed. It's my algorithm is in there. I don't watch other things. Thank you for staying here, Dragulaura. Thank you. Thank you. You were very like a great company, a great companion to me. Thank you. I believe Pinterest is the most common one, no text or anything. Yeah, because also like you know, yeah, that of reading a lot, you know, I also think that people, you know, on TikTok, there's something just that, you know, there's a lot of opinions, and even there's like professionals, so they say, you know, that they are like, oh, because I'm a professional psychologist, I'm a professional in this, I'm a professional in this, and they all have different points of view, and they all talk about, you know, like, oh, you know, this is good for your health, this is not good for your health. Some of them are AI created, you know, so it's annoying because you're like, yeah, you know, everyone says that they have, you know, the truth, or that they have the information, but it's actually very confusing. Like I'm able to tell that it's not like that. It's just that, you know, maybe there's people that they will take it like, oh, it's actual facts, you know, and I'm like, no. No, especially about, you know, psychology and relationships. I understand that there's, you know, a lot of people that they do expose their relationships, or there's certain, you know, and here in Argentina, I do see it every time, you know, a celebrity breaks up. You know, there's a lot of journalists, you know, content creators, even some psychologists that they do, you know, analyze what happened, who's right, who's wrong, you know, and I'm like, you know, I think that nowadays you know, and I think that nowadays and always, you don't know what's going on, you know, between two people. You know, dynamics are very strange and are very private. So even if they tell you, oh no, you know, we got along well, or no, we had a fight, you know, you never know, you know, you had to be there. And even if you are there, you are not them. So to take someone as an example for you to want to give like dating advice, yeah, I think that is making people more confused about relationships. Because relationships, you have to be in one. You have to be in one in order to learn about yourself, or to learn how you will act. You know, you have to be in there. It's not that specific, like, oh, you know, I read a TikTok, I heard, you know, I listened to a TikTok, someone on TikTok told me, and that's how I'm going to execute my relationships from now on. No, it's not like that. It's not that, you know, programmed. I wish it was, you know, I wish we all had, you know, like, oh, this is the right moment to put a boundary, to set a boundary. I'm going to set the boundary here. You know, it's not like that. We all have flaws. You know, we all have flaws. And we probably attract people with more flaws even. Mm. I don't like reading comments. Because it tends to mess up my perception of things, and everyone just goes along with the most popular opinion. Yeah, at the end, I think that, and that's the interesting thing about you know, some applications, some apps, is that you go to I think that you watch the content a bit, but you go to the comment sections to see, you know, what is, you know, because some comments are really hilarious. But even, you know, when I do the readings, you know, I see people speculate, you know, in the comments, and there was certain comments, you know, that I'm like, you know, if you know the truth already about the relationship status, just go and talk to it, you know, in your own platform, but don't, you know. I think that people are just like, and also there's a bit of ungratefulness, you know, from when you do a reading, they are like, oh, but you didn't talk about this. Oh, but this was said before. Oh, you know, like they always expect more. And they're like, and what about this? And what about this person and this person? And it's like, you never satisfy anyone. Like there's always, thank God, there's few people that they say they are polite and they say thank you, and they move on with their lives, you know. But I think that there's a lot of like, you know, a very, you know, just a very narcissistic kind of point of view of like, well, you know, your video wasn't that good, and it's like, you know, I just read what I saw. I'm sorry, I cannot, you know, I'm not going to be that specific on, and I see what I see, you know, and people just know it's, they don't get it. They don't get it. Mm. Yeah, you never know. You never know how you will react. You never know until you are in there. You never know. You never know. Yeah, so you have to let go, you know, and not, you know, because if you are a good person, you know, and if you have good values, and if you are, you know, like, okay, you know, I guess I feel like I'm a decent person. If you have that, you know, that sort of perception of yourself, just don't lose yourself in other people's opinions. You know, don't lose yourself. Don't give them that room to make you question or make you feel desperate to do something to accommodate to them. You know, it's like, because they will judge you even if you do everything for them, even if you do deliver what they want and more, they would always complain. So don't get into that, you know, that because there's people that they will never, you know, appreciate you the way you want them to, you know, because they already decided that even maybe they don't like you or maybe they have something against you. So, you know, it's like you stay being you know, you stay being you, and just, you know, always go back to your values, you know, go back if you have values, you know, and just go back to your center and be like, am I doing the best I can in this situation? Yes, I am. So I will retreat, you know, till here, till here. That's it. That's it. And it takes a lot of years to learn this. I'm 41 and I learn every day. You know, it's not something that you're like, oh, I learned it a long time ago and my life has been great. No, it's something that you have to renew every day. You have to review yourself a lot. But yeah, think about yourself as your best friend. You know, always think about yourself, like not in an egotistic way, but always monitor yourself. Like, you know, what is going on? You know, why are you doing all of this? Why are you feeling like this? What is going on with you? Is there another reason? Is there something going on? Is there something that is being triggered by this situation? Like, you know, talk to yourself. Talk to yourself. Rescue yourself. Rescue yourself from the comments, the other people's voices, other people's influences. Just go back to yourself, because you only have yourself, you know, and also you can be better. You know, you can be better. I don't think that, I think that all relationships, good or bad, they all teach you something. Because if we were all isolated, we wouldn't learn anything. Like, I think that relationships, it molds you, you know, but it also helps you to, if you have an inner voice, you know, it's like, you know, go and talk to you. What is going on? What is going on with yourself? This is why I think that, you know, sometimes people will say journaling, you know, like write a letter to yourself. Tell yourself how this situation makes you feel. You know, pour all, you know, all your feelings, your perceptions, put it all in that piece of paper or in that journal or in that book. Just write it all, let it all out, you know, and then read it. And then read it. And it's a great exercise because it doesn't have to be that like, oh my God, I need money to go to, and I need this. If you have it, great. But also don't forget that, at the end, it's about what is going on with you and this situation. And if that situation or that person triggers you, okay, like, be kind to yourself also. Don't be like, oh, I was such a fool. Like, no, just, review yourself. Take a deep breath. Breathe. Breathe. We are all doing our best here. We are not perfect. The reality is that we're not perfect. But, if you go back to yourself, just, connect with how that makes you feel. It's important, especially in a moment where there's a lot of opinions. And sometimes you get confused. You're like, do I think like them? Am I on their side or am I on the other person's side? And everyone is asking you to take a side. So don't. There's moments that it's better to not take a side. There's moments where, it's like, I observe, and let the wolves fight, just observe. Okay, I'm going to go because yes, I have to face my family members, not my family, my relatives. I have to go and say hi, and also I have to feed my cats. So yes, thank you guys for being here. This was lovely. Thank you, Laura. You were my co-pilot today. Thank you so much for being here and accompanying me through the readings. Because if it was on me on my own, I would have been talking to a dead mic. So I will be talking in silence for 2 hours. So yes, thank you for being here and helping me. And yes, guys, have a lovely Sunday, and I will see you on Wednesday. I will see if I can come up with some series or something, new idea for the readings. And thank you so much. Bye.